I've got 5 tips to make you a better sharpener, and I'm going to do this pretty quickly, but it's 5 most common reasons that your sharpening doesn't give you the results you're looking for. And the first one is using the wrong stone or the wrong grit. So you need to be aware of the metal that you're sharpening, the hardness or the makeup of it, and what your sharpening stone is made out of, or its sharpening mechanism. So this is a diamond stone. This will work on almost all metals. So pretty much all metals it will. And you can use, say for your kitchen knives, ceramic works great. But what I also mean is that you might be starting to sharpen with a grit that is too high, and you need to actually start at a lower grit. So that's advice piece number 1. The second thing is using an improper angle. So imagine that this blade here, if I started sharpening with this flat, it would take me forever to get to the bevel on this blade. Literally it would I'd have to sharpen all this metal here. So by tipping it up slightly, we create a micro bevel here. This is the primary bevel, and then there's a secondary smaller bevel, and getting that angle accurately takes some practice and understanding. But a lot of times if you're not steep enough, and by steep enough I mean tilting the knife upward, if you're not steep enough, then you're just polishing or sharpening what's called the shoulder. And that's the point where 2 bevels meet. So the primary bevel and then the secondary bevel, where those meet, that's called the shoulder. That's mistake number 2. The third one is improper technique. So if you don't have your body mechanics in a good rhythm, able to set and lock your wrist and then begin stroking the blade across the stone, and you're wobbling, any inconsistencies there is going to give you poor results. The fourth and next potential pitfall in your sharpening transition is that you sharpen on a stone and you don't you're not actually ready to move on to the next stone, and you progress to the next stone too fast. And the way that you can determine whether or not you're ready to progress to the next stone, there's a couple of things that you can do. One, the telltale way to know this is the burr method. So you want to feel for the burr, and you've got to find it on both sides. So when you sharpen on this side here once and you feel for the burr, you got to feel it all the way down the entire length of the knife. You flip it over or go left-handed and go ahead and sharpen until you feel the burr on the opposite side, okay? So if I'm sharpening here, I'd feel the burr on the top. If I flip it over, I'd feel the burr on the top again. Once you've got that, and it's across the entire bevel from heel to point, then you're ready to move on. Another technique is to take a Sharpie marker, and along the blade just put a small amount of marker. And when you remove that marker from sharpening, that indicates that you have been passing that part of the bevel across the stone. Okay. Another technique is that it's feeling for the burr, but if you were to take like a microfiber, and let's say I sharpen this side, the burr would be on my top side here. I'd flip this over and then drag it along, and the microfibers would catch, and that would tell me that there's a burr. Right now, this blade is super sharp, and it doesn't need to be sharpened, but there would be, if I had a burr, you would see this microfiber getting caught and dragged. That would be another indicator to move on to the next stone. Lastly, freeze it. I forgot to mention this during the video, but another technique is to use a handheld magnifying glass or a nice microscope or jeweler's loupe. Look through that at the bevel and look at the scratch pattern. If the scratch pattern looks uniform and you can see the burr form on both sides, you should be able to see a single bevel. Then you're ready to progress to the next stone. All right. Ready, play. Once you've actually gotten all your sharpening done and you think you're ready to start test cutting, and you want to see if it's whittling hair or shaving sharp or cutting newspaper or paper towels or doing your best sharp test, remember that you have to remove that burr. And so the easiest way to minimize burrs is to take on your finishing stone, alternating forward passes, okay, gently alternating forward passes on back and forth on each side like this, with lighter and lighter pressure between each one. That's going to minimize the burr. Then you need to strop. Okay, so whether you use a leather belt, kangaroo hide like this, or you've got some horse butt leather like this strop I've got that I've made, you're going to want to take and start with the point of your knife and do the opposite. Now you're doing trailing backstrokes here, okay? And you're going to go from point to heel, okay? Alternating back reverse strokes, okay? So you're not cutting forward. If you cut forward, you're going to cut into the leather and ruin your strop. So you're doing pull strokes with this gently at about the same angle that you sharpened it with. This will help remove the burr as well. I highly recommend putting a diamond strop or a diamond paste on these, and I've got knives or strops, all kinds of strops. See here, different progressions, different diamond compound progressions. You can get by with a single strop. If you're in need of a recommendation for the diamond paste, I'll put it in the description below. A good progression is anywhere from like, say, 4 to 6 micron to a 1 micron to a 0.1 or a 0.25 micron if you wanted to go with 2 or 3 strops. But just getting that burr off is critical, and that's going to give you some razor sharp knife cuts that are going to get you cutting newspaper from heel to toe. Okay, so I hope that video helped. Please leave a comment below, throw a like, or like the video, Share this with a friend if they're struggling, and I will catch you on the next great video that I put out. Dan for all out.